Adam Peters made a visit to the Pat McAfee show yesterday and actually, talked more for Adam Peters than we typically hear. There are a few more sound bites from Adam Peters that I want to play for you. This was him talking about selecting Jaylen Lane in the 4th round, the wide receiver and punt returner out of Virginia Tech.
The cool thing about that one is on Saturdays before the draft, we get everybody in the room, all the scouts, the coordinators, R&D, and we do this thing. We actually took it from San Francisco. We call it the Commanders Caucus, which is a weird name, but so with Jaylen, he was everybody gets a chance to vote on who is their favorite player that they want to draft on day 3. It's really day 3 is a scouts day, so it's awesome. Like everybody is involved. It's really cool. So we went around the room, and he had by far the most votes of anybody in the room. So for there, you have the buy-in from the R&D, you have the buy-in from the coaches who also voted, you have the buy-in from all of our scouts. And it's just a matter of, all right, well, hopefully he'll get to us because you really have buy-in from everybody in the building. So he was our number 1 returner in the draft. Larry Izzo was one of the people that voted for him. So it all worked out really well. He fell to us, which we were really excited about. And that was an easy pick. He's awesome. And he just had his birthday the other day. He's getting married this summer. He's incredible. So I can't wait. He's coming here Thursday, so I can't wait to meet him in person. Our coaches worked him out down there. Just really one of those ones where you really want to happen, and it did. And you feel really good about those.
There you go on Jaylen Lane. Commanders Caucus does not ring well for many of us. Maybe we can refer to them as kind of Washington winners or something like that. But yeah, they have full Commanders talk inside that building where it's very popular, as Josh Harris told us a few months ago. I love hearing what I heard about Jaylen Lane. Look, they don't have an obvious punt returner for starters. Let's hope that teams punt more against us than they did last year. But without Jamison Crowder, right now, Luke McCaffrey's a possibility. I forget who else is on the roster that's a possibility. I guess there's some guys deep down in the roster. The kid from UCLA that's still on the roster somewhere. Forgetting his name. Kaz Allen. But, lots of speed. This guy apparently is a grade A, culture guy. I think one of the things we thought of was another, playmaker offensively, and that's the one that they got in this offseason along with Deebo Samuel. In terms of additional playmakers in this offseason, it was Deebo, Jaylen Lane, and I guess if you want to say bringing back Noah Brown and Ertz, that's where they are on that. All right, this was Adam Peters talking about the Howie Roseman video that we played for you yesterday, where Howie Roseman called Adam Peters during the draft, trying to trade up 3 spots from 32 to 29. They wanted to take the linebacker from Bama. Washington decided not to do it. You heard Howie Roseman say he wanted, an NFC East tax on the trade. And then you heard Howie Roseman respond with the pick of Josh Connerly Jr. when he said, good pick. Well, he was asked, Adam Peters was, by Pat McAfee and company, AJ Hawk, etc., on their show yesterday about that Howie Roseman draft video.
That was actually me busting his chops on TV for because he did that to me. And so that part they left out. But my first time talking to Howie, he was trying to trade me a player last offseason. It was like the first phone call we had. He's like, yeah, well, we can do this or that, but, because you're in division, there's a tax. You're going to have to pay a little more. And so that was just me throwing it back at him, and we were just joking around about it. But it's actually really – he's a great guy. He's a great GM, obviously, and he's awesome to deal with. We've done 2 deals already together and probably do more. But, it was just us back and forth having fun.
Yeah, the 2 deals being draft day last year when the Eagles traded up into the early portion of the second round and selected Cooper DeJean, and Washington ended up getting 2 picks in the middle of the 3rd round, which were Ben Sinnott and Mikey Sanderstill, right? I think those were the 2 picks that they ended up picking. So they had 3 second-round picks, which included Johnny Newton early on in that second round. This was Adam Peters just talking about the NFC East and shaping the roster to compete within the division.
Yeah, I mean, you're always thinking about that. You're always thinking about how to beat every team in your division, every team in your conference, like every single second and every single day. Like that's what I stay up at night thinking about. But in terms of those trades, those are risks that you have to take. Now, do I think you can't be scared of making those trades if you think they're going to, you're worried about the press clippings and all that. You're trying to make the best decision for your own team. And if you think that's the best decision for your own team to help win, then do it. But if it's something, if you're scared about it, you probably won't make the right decision.
And then Adam Peters actually complimented, I have not heard this yet, Max cut this up, complimented the DC media for positive coverage.
Yeah, they're great. They first of all, they work extremely hard. They're diligent. They ask great questions. They're really respectful. They're awesome to work with. So I think, coming in and having Josh here and then myself and DQ coming in, I think they've been really, really respectful to us. And, it's been awesome to work with them. So I have no issues there. And it's been positive so far, and I know it's not always going to be that way, but they've been awesome.
What was the question? Did McAfee just ask him about DC media?
I really wish I knew, because I pulled this from G&D yesterday because they had also kind of touched on it a little bit, and Darius cut it up. But I'm going to need to go back and listen to that question because I'm actually very curious as to getting asked by Pat McAfee show about like DC sports media.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a conversation we've had for years. Look, big picture, when you are really good, it's going to be hard to be even constructively critical at times. I thought about this at some point a few weeks ago when Adam Peters said something, and I'm forgetting what it was, but during the course of the year, it was just so overwhelmingly obvious that this organization was different. The team was completely different, obviously driven more by Jayden Daniels than anything else, understood. But I was trying to think of at any point during the season, was I, my typical constructively critical of various things because there was so much to pick and nitpick at over the years. The only thing I could think about, and I'm sure somebody will remind me of something else, but I hated the opener in which at Tampa, when they were out of the game, they were still running Jayden Daniels on read option keepers into a defense that was really good in a game they could not win late in the fourth quarter. That was the only thing I remember saying, don't let Cliff Kingsbury do that. Can you imagine if he had gotten hurt? And he took a couple of big shots, remember, at the end of that first game? Mm-hmm. And that was, to me, the only massive head scratcher of the year. Somebody will remind me of something else, I'm sure. This was Adam Peters, and this is the last one we'll play, number 12, Max. I guess he was asked about the name. Here's what he said.
Do you like the name?
Love it.
I mean, you got it. Can't say it.
Yeah. No, honestly, I mean, we've embraced it. We've like our players have embraced it. We've embraced it. What a commander is. We've defined what a commander is. So I think everybody's all in on it. So we're pumped, and we're gonna keep going with it until they tell us not to.
Adam Peters on the name. Look, that answer, first time hearing it, goes hand in hand with the Josh Harris answer. That inside that building, they're all on board. I doubt that that's true, but they can't say it any other way, without being disingenuous. Because outside of that building, nobody's all in. No, there are some people that are all in, but the majority are not all in on the name. I think we all know that. All right, let's switch subjects. Good stuff, actually, from Adam Peters. Some really interesting stuff and more open in answering some of the questions than he typically has been. He's smart, for starters. There's no doubt about that. He's also clearly likable. I'm assuming he's a good guy. I've heard good things about him from people that know him. And, they got Jayden Daniels. And when you get the quarterback right, it certainly makes everything else a lot easier to deal with, even when you make a couple of mistakes.